Choyeon is shocked to hear this, and Mujin says that the merchant group might actually find a way to reattach his arm. Han leaps off from where he is watching to check on Dobo. Choyeon also rushes at them, and Han mentions that Dobo's energy core has also been destroyed. Han stares at Mujin, asking him if he really had to go that far. Mujin acts confused, asking Han what he meant by what he said, and Han says there was a clear gap in their skills because the fight was already over a long time ago. Mujin then replies that since he has a big mouth, he also has a lot to say. Mujin then asks if it was really necessary to use the 7-wound fist strike on the head of a 5-year-old child with no martial arts skill. With pure rage in his eyes, Mujin tells Han that what he just did is merely a closure of a grudge that he has been holding for the past 17 years. Mujin also adds that they are about to start paying for everything they have done against the Hua clan. With clear malice, he urges Han and his subordinates to prepare themselves very well. Choyeon crashes to her knees in pain, swearing that she will never forget what Mujin just did. As Mujin walks away from the stage, the spectators cheer for his victory because they are impressed by how he crushed Dobo. In addition to the beautiful things that they witnessed, they realized that they had never seen the sword he had used in the past. Basically, they are all hyped because a new martial arts master has been born. Do and Sok rush to meet Mujin, and he tells them that it is time they head back home. As he walks away, he suddenly turns back, asking Do if he has spent all the gold he entrusted to him. Do nervously replies that there is still a little of it left. Mujin then says he might have to stop by the Bangho sect because he would have to borrow money. Suddenly he tells Do that he doesn't care if he, Joe, and the other martial artists want to leave, but he lets him know that there will be great consequences if they try to take his siblings from him. He says this with so much killing intent that it almost cripples Do where he stands. Meanwhile, his siblings are already screaming at Joe for taking them away when they are supposed to be watching their brothers duel. Joe knows that they are done for when he reads the letter that the pigeon just delivered and realizes that Mujin unexpectedly won the fight. Do told him in the letter that they had been discovered, and he urged him to return to the house immediately. Without delay, Joe starts riding back home, but in fear, while the kids are celebrating that they want to go back and see their brother. Later on, Mujin tells Do that it is time for him to deal with the Bangho sect, and he tells Do not to worry himself about anything. Even though Mujin is now considered to be capable, Do urges him not to get himself entangled with the Sosol sect in whatever way. Realizing that the old man is just overthinking things, Mujin tells him that he won't. With this, Mujin heads out to meet the Bangho sect, but Sok is worried that things might turn out horribly. Mujin says he can't delay things any further, and he urges Sok to stay very close behind him. Momentarily, Mujin arrives at the Bangho sect, shocking Ma because he never thought he would see Mujin again. Mujin tells Ma that he is there to pay back his debts, while also making fun of Ma because their sect now looks deserted. Ma tries to cover up their loss by saying most of the gamblers in the region only left because they needed to watch his duel against Dobo. Since he claims that everyone went to watch him fight, Mujin asks him if he held betting pools on his match. Without a doubt, Mujin is pretty sure that they gave him the higher odds, and from this, they would have made a bulk load of money. Since they have made some money, Mujin automatically reveals his interest, and Ma obviously knows that he is about to milk them. To avoid getting into any trouble with him, Ma tells him that they are going to express their gratitude. Mujin is pleased to hear this, since everyone obviously likes money. Ma can sense the cold aura coming from Mujin's body, and it simply shows that he is filled with so much killing intent. Mujin then asks Ma about his boss, and this shocks Ma, asking him why he wants to know where their boss is. Mujin slams his hand on the table, telling Ma that he is pissed when he has to ask a question more than once. Mujin is about to run wild when the leader of the sect, Chai Woong-gil, appears in the room. Mujin is surprised to see an ugly face who turns out to be the leader of the sect. Che confesses that his boys have already told him about Mujin, and Mujin asks him why it is so hard to see him. Mujin doesn't hold back from taunting him, telling him that he has an ugly face. Standing behind Che is an interesting fellow, and Mujin asks if the fellow is his servant. Flowing out of the dude is pure malice, and he turns out to be Death Black Crow from the Sosol sect. Black Crow scolds Mujin for eyeing his money, and even though he was told to avoid the Sosol sect, Mujin just found himself staring at one. Mujin simply tells the dude to keep his mouth shut if he doesn't want to die. Black Crow angrily dashes at Mujin, ready to tear him apart, and this scares Sok. Mujin doesn't feel any threat coming from Black Crow, as he is determined to take down anyone who gets in his way. Mujin throws a chopstick at Black Crow, and with so much power behind it, he punctures his hand. This is when it dawns on Black Crow that Mujin is not an ordinary dude, and he needs to take him seriously. Mujin then tells Black Crow that he wants no compliment from someone as trashy as him, but this gets Black Crow mad, and he angrily runs toward Mujin again. This time, Mujin decides to meet him halfway, and he runs toward him, but suddenly vanishes right in front of him. He appears behind him, shocking him. Black Crow frantically throws hands at Mujin, but he easily dodges while making it obvious that he is toying with him. Black Crow cannot believe that someone as young as Mujin is actually dodging his attacks. Mujin then decides to put one more hole in Black Crow. Mujin pushes the chopstick into his left eye, causing him so much pain that his scream scares those who are watching. Black Crow falls to his knees while calling Mujin the B word, telling him that the social sect will come for him for attacking a member. Mujin is interested to see what the sect is capable of, and he kicks Black Crow in the head, while telling him to urge the social sect to come at him all they want. However, before the sect comes, Mujin lets Black Crow know that he is not leaving the room alive. Just then, Black Crow starts begging, telling Mujin that he is ready to give him anything he wants as long as he spares his life. Mujin is surprised that Black Crow desires to live, but since he offered him wealth, Mujin holds back from sending him to the afterlife. Black Crow says all his wealth is in Dechang, but he promises to bring them back. Mujin is ready to take the deal, but he assures him that he is a dead man if he doesn't return with the money. With fear creeping through his body, he rushes off, promising to be back as fast as he can. Once he is done dealing with the Black Crow, he turns to Che, who is already pissing his body, and he tells him that it is time they settle their debt. Che immediately falls to his knees, begging to be spared, while promising to give everything that he has. Mujin laughs at this, telling Che that he has nothing to offer him because his properties are already his. Che is confused when he hears this, and Mujin tells him to add the profits he has gotten out of commoners in addition to the lives he has ruined by manipulating martial clans to equal out his assets. With tears in his eyes, Che says he is willing to give Mujin everything, but this pisses Mujin off, and he shatters Che's brain, reminding him that he can't offer him what he already has. Fear grips everyone watching this, and Mujin turns to them, asking them who is after him in the command line. Ma quickly steps up, saying he is the vice sect leader, and he falls to his knees, begging to be spared. He promises Mujin that he is going to live honestly if given another chance. Because he pleaded sincerely, Mujin decided to spare his life. Mujin then asks Ma how much Che was worth, and Ma starts with his house. He says everything is worth 4,000 gold, and Bungho's assets are about 10,000 gold. In addition, there is a 500 gold tribute from the Sozal sect. Basically, everything totals over 20,000 gold, and Mujin mentions that he wants everything to come to him. Ma then tells him that he is going to prepare everything and bring it to him. Mujin is pleased to hear this, since he wants everything handled without delay. Once Ma is gone, Mujin stares at the other sect officers with a very deadly expression, and he tells them to start negotiating their lives. This shocks them, and he reminds them that Ma is the only person he promised to spare. Fear grips them, and they start begging to be spared. Momentarily, Mujin returns home with several boxes filled with treasures and money, leaving Do shocked. He tells Do that each of the boxes has about 400 gold in it. Do tries to remind Mujin that the Bangho sect is backed by the Sozal sect. However, the main problem is not the Sozal sect, but who is allied with them, and this is a scary dude named Ju Sugang. Do adds that the sect also adds that the sect has the Black Crow and the Red Crow too. The moment he hears Black Crow, Mujin tells Do that he has already dealt with him. This shocks Do, and Mujin tells Do not to place him on the same level as him or Joe, because anyone who comes looking for the clan's trouble will end 6 feet under. After he is done saying this, he tells Do to get him some beef, and he also orders that his siblings are well fed when they return. As Mujin turns around to leave, Do cannot believe that Mujin has already put fear in Black Crow, who is considered a menace across the region. Do basically realizes that Mujin is totally different from the person he once knew. Meanwhile, Choyeon has hired assassins to take out everything dear to Mujin, but she orders them to bring back one of the kids alive. In the past, the Flame Hua clan was pretty successful, and the remarkable man known as the Flame Emperor drew admiration from countless martial artists who were always watching him. He even received praises from the prestigious Tang clan of Sichuan. In a single generation, the Flame Hua clan became a martial clan that no one could ignore. Those who are considered peak martial artists even think twice before messing with the Flame Hua clan. Because of this, there was a time when the people of Xichang would cheer passionately whenever the clan's members walked the streets. However, after the Flame Emperor died, the next patriarch showed how trash he is, and because of this, the Flame Hua clan gradually declined. Those who had been loyal to the family started walking away one after the other. With this, the image of the emperor who once ruled his world became split among those who remember him and those who don't. But the one thing that remains is that he is an extraordinary man. Because of the immense aura that Mujin has when walking, the elders start comparing him to the late emperor. Soon afterward, wounded warriors show up to tell Do that they have been ambushed by assassins, and Elder Joe and a bunch of warriors are the only ones fighting the assassins. The moment Do hears this, he realizes that the 2 young ones are in danger, and he tells the warriors to notify Mujin immediately while he goes ahead of him. In the forest, Joe finds himself standing up against the assassins, since the warriors with him have been taken down. Even in the face of immense danger, he stands strong with all readiness to protect the kids. Just as he is about to be overwhelmed, Do shows up just in time to lend him a helping hand. This pisses the assassins off because they had almost accomplished their mission before Do showed up. The assassin leader screams at his men, telling them to take down the two, and another round of fierce battle ensues. Do manages to exchange a few blows with the assassins, but old age soon catches up to him and the assassins get the upper hand. Before he knows it, he gets cut on the shoulder, forcing him backwards. One of the assassins then makes Do his mission, and he tells his comrades to kill one of the kids. He pushes Do backward, forcing him to stay on the defense, but Do refuses to back down. Moments later, Do gets cut really badly, and he screams out in pain. Do crashes to the ground with no way to defend himself or the kids. Since Do is out of the equation, the assassins focus their attention on the kids, asking which of them they are going to kill or spare. Even though Dojin can't do anything to help, he still stands his ground to defend his sister, and the assassins decide that he will be the one to die. Just as they are about to cut Dojin down, Mujin's voice echoes through the forest, telling them to stop right where they are. He looks absolutely menacing as he dashes toward them at a great speed, but the assassins don't look scared since Mujin was previously known as trash. The assassin leader then tells his men to kill Mujin since he has decided to get in their way. One of the assassins dashes toward Mujin, but Mujin uses him as the first target for his rage. He shatters the dude's sword with little to no effort before launching a vertical strike that cuts the dude in half. Without wasting time, he moves past the dude and heads for the rest of the assassins. The moment they see how crazy he is, the leader of the assassins orders his men to come together and take Mujin down at once. The group quickly gangs up on him, but before they can reach him, Mujin activates the Peerless Nine Swords' fifth form, called the Army Slayer technique, and he slices through all of them like tissue. One of them tries to get the edge on Mujin, but he easily dodges before relieving the dude of his head. This is when it finally dawns on the surviving assassin that they are going up against a monster. Before he can even make another move, his right arm has left his body and he screams in pain. Mujin then tells him not to make another move if he still wants to remain among the living. Mujin turns around to see Joe helping Do up, and Dojin is covering his sister's eyes so she doesn't see the carnage going on in front of them. Dojin assures his sister that they have nothing to fear because Mujin has shown up and has beaten up all the bad guys. Mujin walks up to the two and he asks them if they are okay. Dojin assures him that they are good, and Mujin suggests that they must have been scared. But Dojin tells him that he is not, claiming that he is the son of a martial master. Mujin is relieved to hear this and he pats the boy on the head for his bravery. He then tells Elder Joe to take the wounded warriors and his siblings back to the estate. The moment the group leaves, Mujin turns his attention to the last assassin, telling him to keep his mouth shut about his chopped off arm. Mujin then asks him if he was sent by the Chonghua merchant group. The dude hesitates before answering, and Mujin tells him that he might spare his life if he answers honestly. The assassin gets curious when he hears this, and he quickly reveals that Choyon hired them through the Death Forest faction. After telling Mujin what he knows, he asks him if he is going to let him just like he said. Mujin then tells him to run back to Choyon to tell her that he has wiped out the group she sent after his siblings, and to let her know that he is coming for her head next. Later on, everyone has their eyes on Mujin as he walks through the street with his body soaked in blood. Those who have been looking down on him in the past couldn't do that again, since they can't risk becoming one of his victims. The people are curious to know if the prodigy that they knew when he was a kid is finally back. After making sure he has farmed enough aura on the street, Mujin finally returns home and Masak comes running over to welcome him, but Mujin pushes his head aside. He asks Masak if the wounded warriors are all in the medicine hall, and he says yes. Masak reveals that Dojin and his sister are also resting in their chambers to regain their strength. Mujin is glad to hear this, and he tells Masak to prepare a bath for him. Moments later, Mujin soaks himself in the nice bath prepared for him by Mujin. While taking his bath, he thinks of his siblings and his desire to keep them away from seeing the bad in the world. Even though they are children from a martial clan, Mujin doesn't think it is right for them to be exposed to cruelty at a young age. However, at the same time, he is worried that he is projecting his past fear onto them. The next day at the medicine hall, Mujin walks up to Elder Joe to ask him about the Red Flame art manual. Joe is shocked when he hears this, and Mujin asks him why he is startled. Joe asks him why he is asking for the manual, and Mujin realizes that Joe is worried that he is going to relapse and tear things apart. Joe subtly replies that this is not his reason, and Mujin basically tells him that he is planning to train on his own, since Joe is currently out of commission. Mujin can also see that Joe is doubting his ability, but Joe denies this. Mujin then assures Joe that he has nothing to worry about because he is not going to throw a fit. Realizing that Mujin has no ill intentions, Joe finally provides the manual for him. After Mujin is gone, Joe expresses his worry to Do, asking him if he has not made the wrong decision by giving Mujin the manual. Du tells him not to worry because Mujin has been displaying some really excellent swordsmanship of late. Du says it was because of Mujin that they were able to survive the assassination attempt. Du also adds that Mujin appears to have been cured, and he believes that the Taoist's treatment is working. Joe agrees that the treatment is working, but at the same time he wonders if the treatment is also helping with his martial arts skills. Du also say Mujin's sudden improvement is something to note, and he believes that he had a fateful encounter because this is the only explanation for his sudden improvement. Joe is happy with the way things are going, and he believes that the clan's decline is finally coming to an end. At the training ground, Mujin calls his siblings together to train them. Mujin explains the concept of the whole training to them, telling them that they are expected to move very fluidly. He mentions that it is a fundamental movement technique that he created himself based on the countless real combat experiences. The two are impressed when they hear this, and Soyeon cuts in, expressing her shock, since Elder Joe claimed that Mujin has no real combat experience. Dojin cannot believe that his sister is basically saying things as they are. Mujin then suggests that they move past the boring talks, and he tells the two to come at him with the basic fist technique that they have learned. The two take their pose, and they come after Mujin at the same time, but their movements leave Mujin ultimately disappointed. The display from the two made Mujin wonder if the two were truly from a martial clan. He realizes that the two lack the basic movement to even be considered martial arts. Frustrated by the poor showing that they are displaying, he tells them to stop. He says they need to stop training for the day because his head hurts. The two are surprised that he is claiming he has a headache when they didn't even touch his head. Mujin then lies that the two are more skilled than he thought. He tells them that the only thing they need to do at the moment is to strengthen their bodies before learning any advanced techniques. After the two are gone, Mujin realizes that he has a big task on his hands and it won't be easy. He then realizes that his master must have had a hard time training him too. Nonetheless, Mujin is prepared to restore the clan to its greatness since he was the one to blame for what happened. In addition to this, Mujin aims to defeat the one person he failed to defeat in his previous life. Mujin then grabs his sword and he begins his solo training. And he can clearly see that the sword has gotten really light in his hand. He also figures out that his speed is increasing with every repetition of sword forms. Some days later, Du and Joe finally return to duty. Maesok tells him that they have done everything he asked, and he commends them for a job well done, but Maesok wanted more. Mujin angrily reminds him of what would have happened if he had arrived on the scene a bit later. Mujin then warns the elders, telling them that they are going to die if they ever pull such a stunt again. The two acknowledge this, and they bow to Mujin while apologizing for being foolish. Moments later, the said Taoist who treated Mujin Do Youngsu shows up. Mujin doesn't know who he is, and he has already insulted him before Maesok tells him that he is the Taoist who treated him. Maesok apologizes to the old man, saying Mujin has not fully recovered, which is why he is acting the way he is. But Mujin kicks him off for saying trash about him. Mujin then decides to play along, and he tells the old man that he is sorry for not recognizing him. Mujin urges the man to follow him, since he must be exhausted from his long journey. Some days earlier, Maesok had told Mujin about the Taoist priest, saying he inherited the Taoist lineage of the Wudang sect. Maesok claims that Mujin was healed thanks to the positive energy healing from the priest, and he reveals that the chief steward paid a huge sum to invite the Taoist. Now in the present day, Mujin is glad that he is finally meeting the man, which is why he is inviting him inside the compound. Mujin then asks him if it is true that he inherited the Wudang sect's Taoist lineage, and Youngsu confirms this, while acting all cool. He mentions that he is the only Taoist to inherit the essence of the Wudang sect's true lineage. The moment Mujin hears this, he stamps on his feet and asks him with all seriousness if he is truly the Wudang White Immortal, because he has never heard of any successor of Wudang's Taoist lineage still alive. Youngsu wants to act like a fool, but Mujin lets him know that he has a little time frame to come clean before he changes his mind. The Taoist maintains his innocence, asking Mujin if he is doubting the one person who healed him, but Mujin immediately whips out his large sword. He tells Youngsu that since he is claiming to be a Taoist, he says he should have no issue dodging his strike. Mujin swings his sword and barely misses cutting the old man in half, but the strike leaves a huge dent in the floor. Maesok and the elders panic when they see this because they believe he is going crazy. Mujin tells the trio to keep their mouths shut and get him water because he wants to show them something funny. The moment the water arrives, Mujin soaks Youngsu with it. Youngsu still tries to act like he knows nothing, as he asks Mujin if this is the way they repay kindness in the clan. Mujin ignores him and grabs his long beard, which immediately comes off, shocking the elders and Maesok. Even Youngsu realizes that he is screwed because they have found out that he is wearing a fake beard. Mujin makes fun of him, saying he even tried his best to glue the beard carefully. Youngsu soon finds himself answering to Mujin and his retainers, and Maesok asks Mujin what he plans to do to the dude. Mujin replies that he has no intentions of letting Youngsu go, and he says he might just cut off his limbs and turn him into an eunuch too. Young-soo freaks out when he hears this, and he starts begging Mujin to spare him. Mujin assures him that he has no intention of killing him because if he does, there is no way for him to get his money back. Mujin says he just wants to cut off his limbs, but Young-soo begs in fear, telling Mujin to leave his body parts intact. Young-soo promises to return all the money that he swindled. Mujin accepts the deal, but lets him know that he is also going to charge him for not cutting off his limbs and manhood. Scared for his limbs, Young-soo tells Mujin that he is ready to pay back any amount as long as Mujin leaves him whole. Mujin then asks Do how much the dude collected from him, and Do reveals that he paid him 50 gold nyang. Mujin hears this and expresses his disappointment about how gullible Do is to have fallen for Young-soo's scam. In his defense, Do says he heard that Young-soo was a great healer. Mujin then turns to Young-soo, telling him that the first thing he's going to do is pay back the 50 gold. Young-soo reveals his intention to pay back the money, but claims that the money is back at his residence in Jinyang. Without hesitation, Mujin tells him to lead the way to Jinyang, which is 4 hours away. Do and Jo ask if they should come along, but Mujin tells them that there is no need for this since they are still recovering. He urges them to stay at home and make sure that there is no trouble. As he leaves with Young-soo, Do senses Jo's worry, and he urges him to trust the dude on the matter because he is no longer the man he used to be. Moments later, they get to where Young-soo's carriage is waiting, and Mujin is shocked to see the type of luxurious carriage that the dude is riding. This basically shows how well his scamming business is going. Mujin is even more blown away when he steps into the carriage and sees just how decorated it is. The inside is lined with cotton and finished with leather, and Young-soo says it is perfectly done because he travels a lot, so comfort is a necessity. Mujin smirks, saying Young-soo has a strong work ethic for someone who is a cook, and he asks him why he is not doing honest work, since he is a professional. Young-soo bows his head to Mujin, assuring him that he is going to embark on something legit from that moment forward. Mujin then lies down comfortably, telling the old dude that he needs to sleep. He suggests that he wake him when they have arrived at their destination. Young-soo acknowledges the order and assures Mujin that he will wake him the moment they arrive. Deep down, Young-soo holds ill intent toward Mujin, and he can't wait to show him what happens when someone wrongs him. The carriage soon departs, and after some hours of traveling, they arrive in a very silent and secluded area of the forest. Young-soo steps out of the carriage to meet an acquaintance, who appears to be a bandit. He tells the dude that Mujin is fast asleep inside the carriage. He tells the bandit to drag him out and make an example of him. The big guy is excited to do this because he doesn't know why someone would mess with the business of a Taoist. The big guy walks into the carriage and sends a punch in Mujin's way. Just as his punch is about to land, Mujin turns around to block the punch with his sword. Mujin smiles evilly while asking if they have arrived already. Mujin is disgusted with the guy standing above him, and he sends him flying out of the carriage, shocking Young-soo. The bandit feels the impact of Mujin's hit crawling through his body, and he decides to get serious since the claim about Mujin being impressive is not a false claim. Mujin slowly walks out of the carriage, asking Young-soo when their destination ended up being an isolated forest. Mujin finally realizes that he is a target for the Taoist too. He thought he was just a scammer, but then he figured out that he had other schemes too. Mujin doesn't take offense at this because he was looking for some action anyway. Mujin unleashes an overwhelming aura from his body while telling the big guy that he would like to see what he is made of. The big guy can sense the pressure coming from Mujin, and he calls on the rest of his gang to come out so that they can both take Mujin down together. 3 other big guys emerge from their hiding places, and it turns out that they are known as Zhongshan's 4 demons. The moment Mujin takes a good look at them, he can see that they are wielding demonic energy, but he doesn't say anything about this. Mujin makes reference to the variety in their weapons and tells them that he would like to see the depth of their skills. Without wasting any more time, Mujin dashes toward the leader of the team and pushes him away from his teammates. He puts him on the defensive as he continues launching a series of attacks on him. The rest of the team soon realizes that Mujin is after only the dude, and they mobilize to help him. Even the dude getting attacked is feeling the severe hit from Mujin's strikes. He compares his attacks to those of a heavy mace. He soon loses his balance and Mujin kicks him in the face, crushing his mouth. Just then, the rest of the team catches up, and the closest tries to take Mujin's head off with his axe, but Mujin easily dodges and delivers a powerful elbow hit to his belly, causing the dude to scream in severe pain. The other 2 try to take Mujin down with a pincer attack, but he dodges, forcing the 2 to overextend their arms. This creates an opening for Mujin to easily punch one of them to the ground. Mujin then goes after the last dude, and the dude tries blocking Mujin's attack with his sword, but it shatters right in front of him. Mujin's sword almost cuts the dude in half, but Mujin holds back. The dude's life flashes before his eyes, and while he is still trembling from this, Mujin sends him flying with a powerful kick to the chest. With this, Mujin takes the 4 down, and he has them on their knees, struggling to breathe. During the fight, he has confirmed that they are using demonic arts, but this leaves him wondering how there are demonic arts in the Central Plains. Mujin considers them his juniors, and he doesn't want to kill his juniors. He is contemplating on what to do when the leader of the team screams out, telling Mujin that they are conceding defeat. He begs Mujin to spare them. And this is when Young-soo realizes that he is screwed because Mujin was able to easily defeat Zhongshan's 4 demons. The leader of the team admits that they already figured out that Mujin was way above them after the first few moves. Mujin then asks him why they kept messing around when they already knew this. Mujin assures the dudes that he will spare them, but he is going to destroy their energy cores and sever their meridians. The moment they hear this, the team leader goes on his knees and begs Mujin not to ruin their lives as martial artists because they only did what they were told. Mujin then tells the dude to stop whining because they are already old as it is. Mujin demands to know who they learned from, and the dude initially acts confused until Mujin tells him that he would like to know his master. Mujin mentions that he can clearly see that they are using demonic energy, even if it is pathetic. Mujin is curious to know who taught them demonic arts, and the team leader reveals that they don't know his name. Mujin is pissed when he hears this because he can't believe that they are a bunch of useless disciples who don't know their master's name. The team leader then confesses that their master never told them his name, and he also adds that they shouldn't look for his other disciples. Mujin replies that they should have just put their heads down and learned trash martial arts instead of engaging in banditry. The team leader quickly corrects Mujin's misconception, saying that they are not thieves. He mentions that they only helped with their brother's business on the side. Mujin is surprised when he hears this, and he scolds them for helping him even though they know what Young-soo's business is. This is when the team leader reveals that they believed he was in the business of saving lives. Mujin decides to let them go, and he tells them to stop being lackeys for Young-soo. He threatens to kill them if he ever sees them do bad things again. The team leader thanks Mujin for having mercy on them, and Mujin turns to Young-soo, telling him that the amount of the bill he is going to pay has just increased. In fact, he is going to pay for messing with his mental health, and this leaves Young-soo totally horrified. After the carriage leaves, the 4 brothers suddenly awaken to the fact that Mujin is someone worthy of being their master. The 4 then chase down the carriage and they get it to stop. Mujin is wondering why the carriage stopped until he steps out to find the 4 bowing to him and calling him boss. The 4 tell him that they are pledging their loyalty with the assurance that they are going to serve him until they die. They beg Mujin to take them in, but Mujin believes that the 4 are suffering from being beaten up by him. He tries to discard them, but the 4 roar even louder, demanding that he take care of them while revealing that they are still quite young. This comes as a surprise to Mujin, who thinks the 4 are old dudes, since they all have ugly faces. Mujin maintains the fact that the 4 cannot be younger than him, who is 23 years old. He asks them if they suffered an energy deviation or something. The leader of the 4 is surprised by this because they expect Mujin to just believe that they are young. Mujin adds that he is surprised that demonic arts users manage to become warriors of the ruined households of the Orthodox sect, because it actually makes no logical sense. The eldest of the 4, Cheol-mook, who is 21 years old, then tells Mujin that his master always said that being a demonic arts user is a way of living, not a faction or affiliation. Also staring at Mujin is the youngest of them, who is 18 years old, Nosak. Mujin agrees to Cheol's take, but wonders what sort of Orthodox family would accept demonic arts users because they might just get dragged into scandals. The second brother, Dongjeok, who is 20 years old, cuts in, telling Mujin that no one would dare to say such a thing because they are just going to bash their heads. The third brother, Jung Tai, who is 19 years old, agrees to this too. Mujin then tells them that they must follow all of his instructions if they want to serve in a household, and the 4 shout in unison, telling him that they are going to devote themselves. Tired of their screams and all, Mujin has no choice but to tell the brothers that they are now warriors of the Flamehua clan. Soon afterward, they arrive at Young-soo's large mansion, and he invites them into the house. His servants are surprised to see him with strange faces, and they ask him what happened. But Young-soo instructs his servants to prepare food in the annex. However, Mujin tells him to forget about the food because they need to go to the treasure room immediately. Young-soo agrees and starts leading them to the treasure room, while his servants almost crap their pants thanks to the scary presence of the 4 demons. Mujin is also surprised that Young-soo has been living so well thanks to the money he has swindled over the years. Just then, they run into a warrior, Sojin. Sojin asks Young-soo if there is any problem, but Young-soo rushes over to tell him that there is no problem. He urges him to go back into the house, but Sojin insists that Young-soo tell him whatever is wrong with him. Mujin then cuts in, asking Sojin why he keeps sticking his neck into other people's business when they already told him to leave. Mujin mentions that he can clearly see that he is Young-soo's guest, so he should stay away from the entire situation because guests are not supposed to meddle in household affairs. Sojin insults Mujin, saying he has a big mouth, and Cheol-mook wants to jump in to deal with Sojin, but Young-soo urges him to stand down because it is all a misunderstanding. Young-soo tells Sojin to stand down, and he decides to introduce Mujin and the 4 to Sojin, telling him that they are his guests. Instead of just staying back, Sojin decides to be even more rude when he finds out that Mujin is the master of the Flame Hua clan. Mujin ignores him, telling him to move aside whenever he is done talking trash. Mujin is about to walk past him when Sojin tells Mujin that he should be ashamed of himself for running around with demonic users while terrorizing commoners. He then adds that Mujin's grandfather would be weeping in his grave as it stands, and he still doesn't stop there. He proceeds to call Mujin a pathetic trash too. Even Youngsu screams at Sojin for going too far, but Sojin assures Youngsu that he is a pro and would never lose to a scum like Mujin. Just then, one of the brothers whips out his weapon as he steps up to deal with Sojin, urging Mujin to give him permission. Mujin then tells him not to worry because he is going to handle the situation himself. He leaps into the plain arena, urging Sojin to join him, and Sojin excitedly does so. Sojin dashes toward Mujin with the intention of impaling him, but Mujin blocks the attack with his large sword. He commends his sword style, but tells him that he lacks strength. Mujin continues to play around with Sojin, and in no time, Sojin starts feeling the strong vibrations rocking his sword. The four demons see this, and they know it is over for the dude because he is already backed into a corner